I hear that train a-comin', it's rolling around that bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since don't know when, but I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. When I hear that train a-rollin', I'm done to saying and told. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to look at the key of E major. We're going to learn the E major chord, A7, and B7. Let's get right down into the guitar neck and take a look. Our first chord is E major. A good way to make this chord is to start with our first finger on the first fret of the G string. Now I'm going to take my middle finger, my second finger, and put it on the second fret of the A string. Now I'm going to sneak my third finger on the second fret of the D string right under my middle. And that is E major. We strum all the strings. You can pick down it to make sure all your notes are ringing out. And something to be careful about when you're playing open chords is not to press down too much. This chord sounds in tune right now. But if I press down with my first finger too much, it'll sound a little weird. Sounds a little bit out of tune. I'm giving a little bit too much pressure. So if your chords sound funny, maybe just back off the pressure a little bit. Alright, let's move to A7. You can play this chord in multiple ways. I like to play it with this finger arrangement, which is middle finger on the second fret of the D string, and my ring finger on the second fret of the B string. So I have second fret of the D, second fret of the B, and that's A7. You can strum all the strings, but primarily you'd want to with the E string because sometimes it may sound bad. Just sometimes. You can play this chord other ways also. You can use your first two fingers, which feels really weird for me, but maybe that feels great for your hand. You could also use your last two fingers, but it would be clunky for a lot of chord changes, so I wouldn't recommend that. Let's look at why I picked this fingering for A7. It's for when I switch to and from it from the E chord. All I have to do is bring the middle finger up a fret, bring the ring finger up to the D string, and then rearrange my first finger because it's free. It can roam. It can be ready to place down the first fret there. And that chord is E. E major. And now watch how I switch to A7. I bring this finger off, and then I bring these two fingers down, and I just split the gap between my fingers here, my middle fingers, as I bring them down. They open up. And that chord is A7. Second fret on the D, second fret on the B. Now our last chord, B7. B7 uses all our fingers, which is great. We're going to use our second finger, middle finger, on the second fret of the A string. Now we're going to put our first finger on the first fret of the D. So far we have 2 on the A, 1 on the D. Now our third finger is going to sneak in here on the second fret of the G, as well as our pinky is going to sneak on the second fret of the high E. One more time. Second finger on the second fret of the A, middle finger. First finger on the first fret of D. ring finger, third finger on the second fret of G, and now our pinky on the second fret of high E. Make that chord, and B7. Good job. Now let's take a look at the strumming. This is a classic country strumming pattern, and it's a really great one if you're just picking up the guitar. Let's talk about it. With your left hand, I want you to make an E major chord. Now, as we have this chord fretted, let's go over what the right hand is doing. The right hand is going to pick the low E string. Then I'm going to strum down, up. Commonly refers to as the boom chicka. Boom chicka, boom chicka. And that's just down, pick on just the individual E string. Then strum all the strings with the down and up. Pick, down, up, pick, down, up, pick, down, up. Great, and we're going to do this on every single chord, which is great as it makes everything universal and really easy to pick up and play the song easily and without a lot of time. Now, moving into a more advanced part of this pattern, we can alternate the string we're picking. On this E chord still, I'm going to pick the low E. I'm going to do my down, up, down, up. Now I'm going to pick the A string at the second fret and do the same thing, down, up. So the whole pattern is going to sound like this. E string, down, up, A string, down, up. Good. And try to get that feel. Sing it in your head. Boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom. I know it sounds ridiculous, but trust me, it'll help if you're struggling to hear that rhythm. If you can hear it in your head, your right hand will almost automatically play it. Now, let's move to our A7 chord, as the picking slightly changes, not very much though. On the A chord, we're going to pick the A string now first, and do our down up, and now we're going to pick the low E string, and do the down up again. So the whole pattern is going to be A string, down, up, low E string, down, down, up. Sounds a little funny when it's played that slow, but that's okay. Go ahead, play it that slow till you get a feel for it, and then pick it up. And the point of the picking the individual strings, which might be the hard part for you right now, but keep at it, you'll get it, is to simulate the bass guitar. So it fills out the arrangement a little bit. And with just a little effort, you can get there. You can just down, down, up, down, down, up, if you want to. And that's okay. If that's where you're at right now, go ahead and do that. Learn your chords and come back around to the picking when you're ready for it. Now let's talk about what the right hand's doing on the B7 chord. So make your B7 chord, strum it. Alright, sounding good. Now let's take our picking hand and we're going to pick the A string again. Do our down, up. Now we're going to just move our middle finger up to the second fret on the low E. And we're going to pick that and then down, up. It might sound a little funny right now, and if the funny sound is getting to you, or it's just not working, you can just pick the A string twice. A string, you can just stay right on that string. That can be your only picking note if that's easier right now. A string down, up, A string down, up, A string down, up, or A string down, up, E string down, up, A string down, up, E string down, up. Great job. Now you know a great country picking pattern that goes to so many songs. So experiment with that. You know all the chords in TV major. Thanks for watching. I hope this lesson was helpful and enjoyable. We looked at the key of E major and the three major chords, which are E, A7, and B7. We used Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash to help us through this. Stay tuned for more lessons and stay happy and healthy.